Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. This is the Sunday Night Cop. I'm Gav, that's Emmet, that's Keith, and we are here following Liverpool's 3-0 defeat to Man City at the Etihad Stadium earlier on this evening. If you didn't see the post-match show, go ahead and check it out. Ashley, Kevin, Chris. Directly after the match, the hardest job in football probably at
Oh,
this
stop.
at this moment.
Absolutely.
But go and check it out. You can watch it on a YouTube channel. You can listen to it on all your podcast apps, etc., etc. It was really good. As usual, we don't go through every little bit of the match, but we talk about it in general. So if you have any comments, throw them in. We'll read out as many as we possibly can. And get your opinions as we go. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all that messing. Heads up, next week is international break. That means we will be doing a lot of our stuff on Patreon, because we can go in there and say what the fuck we like without people getting all upset. So there'll be a lot of Patreon stuff coming next week. So check it out if you want. This might be the time to check it out. I feel bad going to Irish here. Who am I putting under the bus first? I'll come to you.
Cheers.
Look, it's a 3-0 defeat, and I'm going to put it out there, as I always do at the very start. Liverpool weren't good enough defensively. They weren't good enough in attack. They weren't good enough in midfield. And they looked to me like they went out there not really knowing what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Unchanged side from Tuesday against Real Madrid, but completely changed in the way they approached the game. I expected to see us come out and absolutely go for them. These were going to be up for it. It's a thousandth game in charge for Pep as a manager. They were going to be up for it, and I just thought that we would be up for it too, especially with Arsenal dropping a couple of points yesterday. We had an extra day's rest on Man City as well. They played Wednesday. I know they were able to probably rotate a little bit more. We went out with the same side, and our passing just seemed to be off. Our intensity seemed to be off. There was no press, and I just thought, oh God. And I kept telling myself, it'll be okay. We'll click now in a minute, and it just never really happened. And Man City, look, fair play to them. Man City, they were up for it. We didn't seem up for it. And I hate saying that because no player goes out onto the pitch to not want to win a game. But it just looked like Tuesday maybe took it out of us a little bit. Players looked leggy. I think maybe Soboslai looked a little bit leggy. Gravenberch, I don't think he had his best game. Probably one of his quieter games. And our passing was just sloppy. We've said it several times. Like if you're going to come up against a team that's going to try and hit you, like City will try and hit you fast, it's important that you look after the ball. I think Salah gives the ball away twice in the first 8-9 minutes. Some of our passing in midfield was extremely poor as well. Yeah, we just looked like a completely different team to Tuesday, and that was worrying. I know we're not going to go through it all bit by bit, and I don't know, we will probably hold off until later on in the show for what I said to you before we came on. But we've played bad before, and we've got results. I think we were actually really good in the second half for maybe the first 20 minutes or so, without necessarily really creating anything. I know we missed a few kind of. Gakpo missed one. I'm not sure whether we would call it a sitter, but anyway, I think we looked really good. We pinned them back, but they were pinned back at 2-0 up. Like, do you know what I mean? Not really. There was no need for them to go forward. It's very easy to pin a team back if they have a 2-goal lead. They could easily just sit off and invite you on, try hit you on the break, and that's probably eventually what happened anyway. But we weren't awful, but it was another one of those awful first halves. Look better in the second half that we've seen, and this is pre-slot. We had this during Klopp's era as well in his last year. We looked poor in first halves. It's disappointing because we are probably all going into this on a bit of a high after beating Villa, looking good, improved again against Real Madrid, who, and again, it's not poor Real Madrid. I think they'd lost one game all season up until then. and we basically imposed our game on them. I thought we were going to see something similar, and I don't agree with some of the commentary where they said it looked like we were settling for a draw. There's absolutely no way. I think we went there looking for a draw. We both need to win the game, and they just looked like they wanted to win it more than we did.
There's a lot of stats coming in there. 40%.
I mean, we dominated them on everything bar goals.
No. I don't mean that. I mean in general. There's a 40% loss rate since we lost to PSG. Liverpool have lost 40% of the games since they lost to PSG. They've lost 16 games in this calendar year. I get your point on, Madrid and fatigue and whatever I can a little bit to that. But if it's fatigue, you don't.
And I hate saying that.
No, but I don't go a lot. Like we could argue fatigue, but I don't think it's a good argument because we've often said on this show that they know these players, within an inch of their lives as to how they are, what are they in the red, are they, all this. They know everything about the players. They know every single stat about every player and every fucking sinew in their body, so they would know with fatigue. Keith, I'm gonna put it to you. I actually think the City lineup throws Slot in what he wants to do, and I don't think he adapts to it because I think he goes into that game and. Do you know what? I don't blame him because I was thinking, City are definitely going to win with two holding here. Two out and out holders. Put Reinders in there beside Gonzalez, isn't it? Is that his name?
Nico.
Yeah, and put the two of them in there and let them sit because City will be wary of what we want to do. And when I seen the lineup coming out, I went, wow, I'm really surprised by that with the makeup of what he had. And I just don't think we adjust. I think we end up in this halfway house where we don't really press because we don't want to go too heavy-handed on it because they have the players to get out and hurt you, as opposed to get out and it's a Reinders turning and kind of just recycling the football. And I just don't think Liverpool reacted well to it at all, and that's down to Arne Slot. I think he went out there. I think he picks a team that he thinks can win it, but win it in certain circumstances. And I think the reaction to what City put out there and what way City go to play, I don't think we react at all well to it. We don't keep the ball. We don't press them well. Second ball usually is not really an issue in these games because there's not an awful lot of, what you would call kind of 50-50 duels. It's an awful lot of football to feet. I just don't think he reacted well to it. I just really, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Guardiola over the years put in teams like this where he's thrown in, attacking midfielders or what you would assume are attacking midfielders playing deeper. And I wasn't overly surprised when I seen that he done it again today. But I was surprised with how we sort of reacted to that. I don't think Liverpool were particularly good. Now, I want to throw a caveat into that. I was out, and I only got in after the penalty incident. So I only sort of seen it from about 2 minutes after that on. So I don't know how we actually started the game from, the first minute. But from when I came in, we were all over the place. I agree with the midfield looked sluggish. We were giving them too much space and too much respect to play their game. But the worrying thing for me was we didn't look like we could impose any sort of a game on them. Now, as it goes on, I think we do have our chances, and I think luck certainly goes against us in the game. But I just felt that watching the game, and I always say when you watch a game back out at the moment, you sort of see it in a different light. But watching that game, you could sense that City were the ones that were going to push it and were going to really put down the foot on us. And they had too many players in them little half spaces. They had too many players getting on the ball in dangerous areas. And as Emmet touched on, Gravenberg didn't have his best game. Szoboszlai didn't have his best game. They walked, they ran, but couldn't really do anything with the ball, and they couldn't really pick up them little spaces and little pockets. The fullbacks, I thought, were struggling for most of the game.
I thought Bradley was okay.
I thought Doku was giving him a hard time.
Doku gives everyone a hard time. It's all about Doku's final ball, to be honest.
And Doku puts one into the top corner, so Bradley has to live with that for the rest of his life. So, shame on him. But I just felt that because you have Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva playing sort of either side of Nico Gonzalez, there's a lot of space, or there's a lot of it makes it harder for the fullbacks because they've got to deal with Doku and who was the other winger? Doku and
Well, Savinho comes on later on.
but who was it? That's
he has
check this.
Bernard Cherky.
Cherky. He was brutal. Sorry, he was shy. Wasn't impressed with him at all. But everything was just coming down Doku's side. But when you have them wingers and you have another essentially wide attacking midfielder in drifting around him, it does make it hard. I thought, Bradley had a tough game up against Doku. Robertson, I didn't think was great after being very good in the last couple. Kanate is a huge worry for me at the moment because he's not playing well. I said it last week. I was at the Villa game, and the amount of times the players were lifting him out of it off the ball for how slow he was and how ponderous he was with moving the ball and getting it to players, holding on till it went. The passing lanes were closed. I think he's really a problem for us at the moment. Van Dijk's not playing well. And I think Kanate is really dragging the team down at the moment. I know I'm a huge fan of Kanate. I don't know if his head is turned or what, with the speculation that he's going to move on. But I really think we need to sort that centre of defence out because we're too easy to get in around. People are going mad saying I criticised Bradley. Look, I didn't think he was great. I thought he got roasted for the game. But he didn't get much help, from Kanate on the inside of him. I thought was really, really poor. And it was just one of them from then on in. If we get the goal, it changes because we've seen games before where, they go up and then we'll get a goal back, or we'll go up and they'll get a goal back. Over the years against City, they've always been good games. And I think that would have changed could have changed the outcome and certainly the mentality. Once that got chalked off, I think it was...
it's a good punch, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is a good punch, lads. But look, here's one.
Just on the Kanate thing, and they said it in commentary. I think City, they were clever in what they did is that they put Haaland on Van Dijk, which meant that the ball was always with Kanate. Everything came from Kanate. You normally have those long diagonal balls that Van Dijk will be pinging, or even down the left hand side to whoever's on the left wing. And Haaland stood on Van Dijk for the whole match and made everything go to Kanate.
Yeah, but then
they isolated him.
But in fairness to Kanate, Kanate isn't Franz Beckenbauer. Most centre halves aren't. They're not going to step out and go, I'm going to hit rake and passes. Yes, Virgil's done it to a decreasing level actually, as time has gone over in the last year. I would say that's lessened. But look, this is what we can get into certain incidents, right? But people talk about a game being of fine margins, right? And they are of fine margins because at top end football, sometimes just teams get slaughtered and you go, it's not fine margins, that just were fucking brutal. Now, you could argue some fine margins in this game today. If you take the first goal, Robertson and Wirtz, one of you has to go and get to Nunes, and the other fella backs him up, right? I would argue Robertson has to go as the natural defender, and Wirtz probably has to say, if he's going, I'll step in behind as a cover. The ball comes in, it's fine margins. Kanate tries to flick a ball away. It actually takes a little nick off him and hits Haaland and goes in the far corner. Fine margins, okay? You look at the second goal, right? You talk about, Virgil puts a foot out and it hits off him and it goes in the net. Fine margins. But my question to that is, how in the name of fuck are they stopped on the edge of our box and passing to a fella in the middle of, the edge of the box in the middle of goal, and nobody's anywhere fucking near them, right? So, but fine margins on the shot, fair enough, right? Then you look at the goal we have disallowed, right? Which I'm going to put my hand up and say I think it's a terrible decision, because when Virgil van Dijk heads it, Andy Robertson's nowhere near this line of sight. He's nowhere near it. He just happens to be in the spot that it's going in the goal. He doesn't stop the goalkeeper from seeing it or knowing where it's going or affect him from saving it, right? But
doesn't make a move to redirect it either.
No, he doesn't, right? So it's a poor decision, and you say to yourself, do you know what? If something goes that way, but lads, taken away from them, right? And I know that's 2-3 incidents. I get that, right? But I don't think anyone can convince me that if Kanate makes that header or Van Dijk leaves that shot, or indeed that goal goes in, that Liverpool are winning that game of football. No, I don't think anyone can convince me, because you have to be.
But they
You
might
have
not
to be.
lose it.
Yeah. Mentally, you could see a
I would
change.
say Liverpool
See a
do lose
speed
that game,
change.
and I think
So
people.
can I just ask that? Because you're
No,
saying if Kanata makes
I'll
that,
just
if
tell you.
Kanata makes that header,
Yeah.
if Kanata makes that header and Van Dijk blocks that shot, what
Mm-hmm.
other chances did they create? Like, I know Doku, but Doku's goal comes from an offside where the flag goes straight up, and then when they show it, Salah's not offside. That should have been a corner. We should have been lining up for a corner, but instead they get a free out and they take it quickly, and obviously we should defend it better, but still, it's another poor decision. Why is it always, and everybody in the chat will have seen this, when a team is attacking us and there's a chance that it's offside, the flag never goes up, and then it eventually goes up, and both Kanate and both Van Dijk are always giving the line out absolute fucking stick for why didn't you put that up?
Yeah.
But when we're going through and whoop, flag goes straight up. And Salah wasn't offside today, and that should have been a corner. That could prevent Doku's third
I agree,
goal.
right? But right, okay. But what I'm saying to you is, do you think Liverpool massively improve, right, on their performance if these fine margins? One of them. Take one of them. Let's take the goal that we should have. Do you honestly, in hand on heart, do you think, do you know what? We haven't played well, but we're 1-1 going into half time. I fancy us to win it on the balance of things. Because I think we become guilty at times of watching the last 20 minutes of that when City are 3-0 up. And City don't give a bollocks at this stage. Like, their defensive lines are shocking. They're not pressing. We're playing in behind them. And they've just shut off. They just went, they're not getting anywhere back into this game. I think, and it's gone back to what I said at the start, I think they're lining up through us, and I don't think we reacted. Because we weren't good enough defensively. We weren't good enough in midfield. We weren't good enough keeping the ball. We weren't good enough pressing. We weren't good enough attacking. We weren't good enough supplying, helping each other out. There was nothing in that game that you could point to say to me, oh, look at that though. Like, real talk says 1-1 changes the game. Does it?
But that doesn't give the officials. It doesn't matter how badly we were playing. It doesn't give the officials a free pass on a bad fucking decision, because nobody knows what's going to happen when we equalise.
Yeah,
it could very well change the game.
It very well could. But what I'm asking you is that when you're watching that game, right?
Yeah.
When you're watching that game, do you think, do you know what? We've been quite good here, and we've given that goal away, small margins, but we've managed to get that one back in. And the way we're playing, like, I'm watching that game, and when it goes in, I'm delighted. But when it goes in, I'm thinking to myself, get the fucking half time here, because they're dominant.
We had it against Villa. We were shocking in the first half. We weren't great in the first half, and then we were excellent in the second half. I mentioned it earlier on. Over the last 2 seasons, we've been a team that's probably not great in the first half, and then we come out second half and we're much better. So yeah, get a 1-1, get to half time, regroup, and then it's a new 45 minutes. I'm not saying that I think that we would have gone on and won it, but I probably would have been as confident as going on and won it as I was prior to the game.
Yeah,
it's 1-1, it's half time.
Okay, so Keith, if we come out with this game with a 1-1 draw, right? Let's say Van Dijk blocks that shot, right? And the Haaland
should have made a much better fucking effort as well than it did.
Right? Oh yeah, but let's just say we score and Van Dijk makes a 1-1 and we get a 1-1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we in danger of coming out of this game going, do you know what? We got a 1-1. We can move on from this, and we can, go up a gear and get over the international break and come back firing. Because I think we're walking away from that game regardless and going, lads, we were fucking brutal.
We weren't at our best, but the goals can change games, and they can change momentum swings and things like that, and they can change mentality on either side, right? So I think it's really difficult to say, if that goal goes in, City are still coasting. Might sound stupid. I didn't think City were great today. They didn't really have to be great. They didn't create an awful lot of chances, as Emmet touched on, in the game. So a swing like that can really, I think it can change the sort of momentum and the thinking. from the team. You know, we didn't start too good. Like I said, I missed the start of it. I didn't see the penalty incident. I don't know what happened on that.
The
Were we
penalty
lucky?
incident.
Were we unlucky?
Well,
I
let me
don't
tell you.
know. And
Let
that's
me
a
tell. Let me
genuine
tell you.
sort
Let me tell you what
Never
happens
a
with the.
fucking penalty.
It is a penalty, and let me tell you. Let me tell you about the penalty incident. Doku has a run at Bradley, right, and pushes it inside. Bradley looks to see who's coming, and who's coming? Fucking Kanate. And instead of putting the ball into the fucking stand and saying, right, now make them start again from a throw in, he tries to play a fucking stupid ball around Doku for no reason. Doku intercepts it, runs into the box. Keeper comes out and spreads himself on the ground. He goes past the keeper's knee catches his foot, he goes down as a penalty. And if it was us, being honest, if it was us and the ball went across like that, and that was Cody Gakpo or Florian Wirtz or anybody goes down, you want that penalty.
100%.
You 100% want that penalty.
But we've also not got those penalties.
There's the inconsistency. Now, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Was it a clear
We've also
one, or
not
was
got...
It's a penalty.
Come here. I would love nothing... I wouldn't love nothing more than to sit here and say we were shy, we didn't deserve anything. But I could accept that we were shy and we didn't deserve anything without these, like Keith says, inconsistencies. City has 2 of those goals that we got ruled out today that were given as good goals. Akanji actually jumps over the ball, so has more of an impact on the game. And Bernardo Silva actually impacts the keeper, actually nudges the keeper as the ball is coming in and then ducks. And both of them are given. One of them was actually Chris Kavanagh. And I think the Oliver was the VAR, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What one was it?
Listen,
come here. I would much prefer to sit here after losing 3-0 and not have any of those things to talk about. But it's the fact that you have those things to talk about, and goals do change game. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I get that, Emmet. But listen, I 100% get that. And like, I don't know, people are saying it's a very soft penalty. Let me ask you this: if that's a Liverpool player going down in the box for that, you want that penalty. Yeah, you want it, and whether you get them or you haven't got them, you want that penalty. So if you want that penalty, you think it's a penalty. Right, whether the decision goes for or against you, that's a completely other situation, by the way. And we know how bad they all are, right? We do. We just know how bad they all are. But I think the focus here seems to be on but this and but that. Liverpool didn't go into that game and listen. If we'd have came away from that and lost 2-1, and we'd have given a right go and said, you know what, we pressed really well. Haaland scored a worldly fucking that, you know, and maybe we could sit here and go, we fucking deserved the point. That penalty was a disgrace, or that disallowed goal. But we're sitting here, lads, and we're clutching. We're fucking clutching here.
I didn't say, so I'm only reading that this penalty wasn't given straight away.
No. So he goes down in the box. The game continues on. The game continues on, and the referee thinks that there's no contact. He's then told there is contact, and to come and look at it and to see if there's enough contact in order for Doku to go over. And then he's brought to the screen. He looks at it and decides there is enough contact.
Is there enough contact for Doku to go down?
Yes, I think so.
I'm reading here it's contentious, right? So
because he doesn't go down, he gets his fucking shot off.
No, so what happens is he gets caught with his knee.
He doesn't go down, he gets a shot off.
No, he gets a shot off while he's falling over. He's stumbling from the clip from Mamardashvili, and he manages to get his foot to it and try to prod it towards goal. You've just said if that happens in the box, you want that penalty. So why are we arguing over this? What we're arguing over is
the reason we're arguing over is because we see others getting them.
Yeah, but Emmet, that's not the point. What you're arguing over here now is you're arguing over the consistency of referees. You are
that's exactly.
Well, who was VAR?
But it's a pointless fucking exercise. It's a pointless, lads. It doesn't matter who it is, lads. We do show. Lads, we do shows every week. I do a show on Patreon every week about referees and the inconsistencies, and we tear them a fucking sunder every week. What you're arguing here is over consistency. It's null and void because they're fucking awful. All I'm saying, they're awful. From game to game, they are fucking terrible. What I'm saying to you is, if he goes down in the box as a Liverpool player, you want that penalty, correct?
Would we get that penalty?
No. That's not the point. Because no, it's not, because would we get that penalty is now going back to the consistency of referees, which you don't know what the fucking consistency. There is no consistency. It's flip of a coin. All I'm asking is, you haven't seen it, so I'll ask you again, Emmet. If the Liverpool player goes down in the box for that, Is it a penalty? Would you want that penalty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Now just flip a coin. Now flip a coin to see if you get it or not, because that's how bad the officiating is.
No. But that's the thing is because we've not got those. I would want it because I've seen them given elsewhere, but then all of a sudden when it happens to us,
I watched
Diogo Jota.
I watched Diogo Jota run through at Anfield, go past the goalkeeper, take 4 steps and hit the ground and get a penalty.
Yeah, but that was a foul.
Exaggerating there.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. He runs about 4 or 5 yards after he gets touched and goes down. And the argument from us at the time was, yeah, but look, it affects his back leg as he's running. He tries to stay up, he can't, he goes down, and there you go. It's a penalty. Listen, penalty or not a penalty, right? We can argue all night. All I'm saying is we're coming out of this game and we're focusing on stuff where I don't think it makes a bit of fucking difference. Because everything that went on before and after these incidents, it didn't spoil Liverpool. It didn't spoil Liverpool to go, oh, we should have had that goal. Right, come on, lads, let's get into this. No, it didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't spoil us.
Because it's a gut punch.
Yeah, but it's a good punch.
It's a perfectly good goal.
But you have to be able to take these, Emmet. You have to be able to take them and go,
I get
you know what,
yeah.
let's go after this. But we didn't. We sat in this halfway house of pressing, a few lads will run there and so a few lads will run there. I mean, we didn't look in shape. We didn't look fucking drilled. We didn't look like we had a plan to off the ball or on the ball.
Good enough.
Yeah.
But the goal changes games.
Yeah.
That's it.
And as I said, I didn't see the penalty and couldn't give a shit about the penalty. My point on that is Michael Oliver's decision-making in games involving Manchester City is absolutely fucking scandalous. And it's another example today where a goal, in my opinion, that should have been given is not given. I didn't see the penalty, so I'm not saying he fucked up on the penalty. That's why I asked the question. Was it contentious? Was it, a dodgy one? But by all accounts, the penalty isn't given until Michael Oliver intervenes. I think there's a huge issue with Michael Oliver. But
Michael Oliver
doesn't change the fact that Liverpool was shit.
I completely get that. I completely get that, right? I completely get it. But what I'm saying is, right, my argument here is, and I get the Michael Oliver thing, right, because it's fucking mad to carry on out of him and where he does be and what he does be fucking doing refereeing wise and what parts of the world he's going over to get paid in and then come back and do it. I completely get that, right? I completely and utterly get it. But lads, it wouldn't make a difference who a fucking is, because when he goes down in the box, they all have to be checked. They all have to be checked. The game continues on. No, but hold on. If the referee blows and gives a penalty, that's going to be checked. It's going to be checked. Now, it's checked in a much more obvious way because he's blown a whistle and given a penalty. When a player goes down and the decision is made no penalty, it's 100% checked. And all he's told is there's contact. Can you please go and look? And if you think it's enough contact, you make the decision. And now you're flipping a coin again. Because next week, right, someone else will go down in the box with similar fucking metrics happening. And it won't be a penalty because they're fucking desperate. They're desperate at what they do.
That's the point we're making.
I know that's the point you're making. The point I'm making is that penalty. By the way, the penalty's missed, right? And that doesn't spoil Liverpool. That doesn't spoil Liverpool. That doesn't say to Liverpool, you know what, fucking, they're at the robbing us there. Well done to Marmadashvili. Right, come on, lads. Right, we see what they're at now. The penalty's what, 20 minutes in? 20 odd minutes in, right? But why isn't Liverpool turning around then and saying to ourselves, right, do you know what? That was a bit...
14 minutes.
14 minutes in, yeah. So, we've seen 14 minutes of this. We know we're not fucking happening. Let's shift a few things around. Let's be a little bit more intense. Let's keep the fucking ball. But they don't. Liverpool sleepwalk themselves way right through the half, right? They go 1-0 down, right? They go 2-0 down, 1-0 down. The goal, which is disallowed, I fully agree. It's a terrible decision. But they still don't react to that and say, well, fuck them anyway, right? Let's keep going. No, tell you what they do. They all stand in the fucking box watching Nico Gonzalez line a fucking shot up for a week and a half, right? Yeah, and then when they win at half time, does it sport them? No. The only time Liverpool show any fucking ambition in the game is when they're 3-0 down and Man City are coasting home. Come on.
Started the second half.
They started the second half okay. But when they go 3-0 down, they look like they're moving around. They sleepwalk their way through that game. 100%. I'm
not for 1 second saying that we deserved anything out of the game, but I just think the decision, like you've just said it there, somebody else won't give that penalty next week. That's the problem. And why is Oliver always at the scene of all the crimes? And why is it always Man City? I would encourage anybody between now and the end of the show to put in an example of where City got done over by VAR, or got done over by Oliver, or got done over by Chris Kavanagh, or got done over by somebody from the Greater Manchester area.
And I completely agree with you. But when it comes down to it, we're not the only football club in this league. There's every other football, maybe not City, but every other football club in this league will point towards not just Michael Oliver, all of them. So when you, this is where we're at. We're now at a level of performance in this game where we're now relying on referees to make consistent decisions, and we know that consistency isn't there. And when they don't make them, and when we save a penalty, we don't store. We don't see people going, come on, get into it. We don't see any of that. What we see is Liverpool just continuing to go on, doing the same thing, hoping for a different result. That's what we do. Keith, I presume you've seen
them going up and scoring a goal.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Keith, we do score a goal. It's a good header, right? It would have got us to 1-1.
It was a well-worked corner.
And I actually think it's a terrible decision. And all you have to do is look at when Van Dijk is heading the ball.
Yeah.
And who's between him and the goalkeeper? And the answer is nobody. And for me, when he heads it, the keeper can see where it is, see where it's coming 100%. To, see where it's going to, and whether fucking Andy Robertson jumps over it, ducks under it, lies on the ground, jumps left, jumps right, it doesn't fucking matter. He can see enough of that ball for as long as to save it. Andy Robertson's not in his eye line, and there's nothing to stop him saving that ball. It's a terrible decision.
Yeah, it's a scandalous decision, but who makes the decision?
Well,
the linesman. The linesman gets his flag up like a lie, right?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't get it up like a lie.
He does get it up like a lie.
It's so in the net and everything, and he's going to stand and look.
If a goal is reviewed in any way, why is he putting his flag up? Because
read their explanation as well.
But that putting the flag up means an on-field decision is now.
Gary Boland said there was 13 seconds before the flag went up.
Was Gary at the game?
No, he must have watched it and counted it. I'm presuming he has eyes and he can count.
Well, all the eyes on the screen were on Liverpool celebrating the goal, so the flag.
Yeah, but he probably is looking across.
The point is, the linesman puts the flag up, and it's an on-field decision, is no goal. So now what Michael Oliver has to do now is decide to give Liverpool the goal and overrule the on-field decision.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't do that, it's an on-field decision as a goal, and then he's to look to rule it out. So, look, I hate giving out about the refs. I'm not really moaning about the ineptitude of them. They're all terrible. It's more the sinister side of Michael Oliver that I'd have the issue with. But it should have been given. In my opinion, it should have been given, because what you said there is Van Dijk heads the ball. His body shape is going to the corner. He heads the ball back into the corner. Donnarumma is looking. He can see where Van Dijk is. He can see where he's heading it. Andy Robertson is not in his way at all. He's not in his line of sight. He's not in his line of vision.
He makes
Andy
a full
Robertson
dive.
Ducks out of the way, doesn't make any attempt to touch the ball or play the ball or redirect the ball or block the fucking keeper. Makes no attempt to do that, and doesn't impact on the dive. How that is given out, how that is given as no goal is disgraceful. But we'll ref watch tomorrow, and we'll be told. And your man Dale, what's his face, will be on Twitter. Oh, I won't do that. Your man Dale will be on and explain why it's a
Dale works for BBC now.
So the exact, well, I give you the exact explanation.
ESPN. What?
The exact explanation was the referee's call of offside and no goal to Liverpool was checked and confirmed by VAR, with Robertson in an offside position and deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper.
Which is untrue.
That's
well, first of all, it wasn't the referee's call. It was the linesman's call.
Yeah. Well,
and he wasn't directly in front of the goalkeeper.
It becomes a referee's call because he blows the whistle and confirms it. That's just...
But it's a ridiculous decision. Right? So, look, all this aside, right, were Liverpool good today? Absolutely not. Could that have changed the game? People going on about what about you in the chat, that's all fine, well and good. Could that have changed the game? Possibly. We've seen plenty of games where one thing like that will change the the attitude of the team and the intensity of the team. And, you know, I've seen it 100 times in Liverpool and Man City games where they've not been in, a scored a goal, picks them up. We've not been in, a scored a goal, picks us up. We don't know what will happen if that goes in. It's frustrating. Nobody likes to lose. You don't like to lose 3-0. It's another defeat away from home. It's brutal. We didn't get the luck today, but you make your own luck as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you make your own luck, and you give them things, or you don't give them opportunities to screw you over if you feel they're screwing you over. Liverpool were not good. There is questions over this Liverpool team. There is questions over Arne Slot's tactics, because the thing that annoyed me in this game today was we went out with the same team, as Emmet said earlier, as Real Madrid, and we couldn't have played any fucking differently. Ekatiké's on the left wing. Wirtz is playing up front. We just didn't look sharp at all. Like, this shite of playing him as a false nine is not working, and is not going to work by the looks of it.
But he shouldn't be anywhere near it.
But why are we not putting our centre forward and having a focal point and walking away?
I think the whole thing
Wirtz on the left to play inside, which is where he done very well against Madrid, where it looks like he'd be his most comfortable position. Why are we not doing that? Why are we trying to be too clever now? And we're putting the fucking 6'2", 6'3", whatever, 6'4" Ekatike on the wing, where he's getting no impact, he's doing fuck all. And we're putting 5'6" Florian Wirtz in a centre forward, where he's much more dangerous coming from deep or running at them, trying to make things happen from a deep opposition. But we went with the same team, the approach was totally different, and we paid for it. Look, I don't think City are great at the moment, and I didn't think they were overly great today. They didn't have to be. But we made it so easy for them with our tactics and the way we set up, and players not giving 100%. That's very unfair to say the players didn't give 100%. Sometimes you can be just off it. But if you're going to let Man City have them chances, and you're going to let them, you know, have that much play, that much of the ball, you're going to get punished. And that's what happened with Liverpool today. So look, we only do have ourselves to blame. But Kev is saying Wirtz went false nine after the subs, and I seen him in false nine from fucking early, to be honest. Like, I
don't think I seen him in the game at all.
Right, I only seen Ekatike on the wing and Wirtz in false nine. I thought he was there from the very start. Again, I only came in about 15 minutes in.
I think Liverpool went into this, and Arne Slot went into this thinking, like I said earlier, that City will play two deep line players, a little bit like Madrid did with Tchouaméni and Camavinga, and a little bit like what's their face, Villa did. They played Kamara and Onana, wasn't it? And I think he looked, and we'll set up like that. And what we'll do is we'll set up and we'll press and we'll stay close together in midfield, and we won't let them play. But when he sees City's lineup comes out, he's thinking, right, this is a 4-1-4-1. They're going to play two number 10s. They're gonna get Bernardo Silva in beside Foden. They're going to have Cherky, who can drift and be that number 10, or if he wants, he can go up and play up close to Haaland. And I think they got caught between two stools, and it's their fault, by the way. I'm not giving them, they got caught between two stools and unlucky. They didn't react. What they should have done was they should have said, listen, right, what we're going to do here is we're going to leave Nico Gonzalez if he wants it. But we might pull Ekatike onto him. Right, we'll pull Ekatike onto him. We'll put the three lads a little bit flat, and we'll make sure that the two boys in Foden and Bernardo Silva don't have easy ball into them. All right, and then what we'll do is, as needed, when it gets to Nunez and gets out to Cherky or gets to Doku, we'll let one of our midfielders drift across that way. But we also had the thing where when Doku's running at you, Kanate can come and mop. And he done it last season really well. Stood off sometimes, edge of his 6-yard box, cleared it. Sometimes he got over and he helped them out. But the first chance he gets to come over and help Bradley, and he fucking tries a stupid pass, and he ends up giving away, he doesn't give away the penalty, but he's on the scene of the crime. I don't think Liverpool reacted to them enough. And I'm not saying, look, people could look and say, oh, don't react, don't fall off them. But what I'm saying is, fall off a little bit. Make yourself solid and go, let's walk this out for 20. Let's just keep a solid 3 here. And if one needs to drift out right to help, and if one needs to drift out left to help, fine. Salah might need to help a bit, Wirtz might need to help a bit, right? But we didn't do that. We look like 2 of them are over here and they might go, and 2 of them are over here and I'm not going, and 2 in midfield, and the 3 in midfield looked disjointed, and they didn't know, do we go and press Gonzalez? Do we sit off? And they got disjointed. And see, didn't have to play well, didn't actually play well. But Jesus Christ, lads, when they get the ball out wide, if they're going to put it in, you know where it's going, first of all. Try stop it. Try fucking stop it. Even get Nunes onto his left foot. Do something. But Jesus Christ, he could have read the paper on the right wing there earlier when he got it and had a look and another look. Oh, there he is. Now I've lost. He literally had time to measure it and look what he's doing. And that's all down to being disjointed for me in the defensive sense and who's helping who and what are we actually looking to do here. We look like we're just set up for one game and another game was being played. Keith, am I wrong? I don't know.
No, and come here. We've praised Slough for being able to change in game. He changed in game last season, so it is a little bit disappointing that he wasn't able to adapt, like you said there, when he realised they were setting up differently. It's just, I don't know. It's frustrating. Like I said, I would love nothing more than to just, well, not love nothing more, but I would be happy enough to sit here and say, do you know what, we weren't good enough, we lost 3-0. It's just the other things that kind of stick in your craw that is I know people are saying what aboutery, but I don't know. I honestly thought we had an extremely good chance of going and beating City today if we just went and played similar to the way we played against Real Madrid. But maybe you're right, Gav. It's the fact that City didn't play the same way as Real Madrid that threw us. And
but what annoys me the most about it is I think Liverpool are set up to go and press the life out of you, right? And keep our midfielders close to each other and win ball and play from there. Or sit in, make yourself a solid right 4 and 3, really, right? Make that solid 7, right? And your 2 wide men can help a little bit and your forward stays up and looks to link. I think we're made for that. To me, I would have been looking today and saying, lads, solid as fuck in the middle of the midfield. If you want to push it out to Doku, we'll get someone over to help Bradley, right? If Bradley wants... Doku's hard because even when you push him to go out wide, he has such quick feet that he's able to just get it inside quickly and get that extra, even a quarter of a yard, and he can get inside you. But we'll send someone over there to help if needs be. And what I'm looking for then is I'm looking for balls to Salah, where he has that running Vardy all day long. You see it. And then I'm looking at Ekatike going, see them 2 centre halves, I want you dragging them in close and I want you spinning and going. And that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to work these today. But we done none of that. We didn't do any of that. And look, the stats don't lie. City weren't good, right? City weren't good. Someone said earlier there, they're apart from the goal, or apart from the penalty, I think it might have been Madge, their XG, which I'm not a big fan of, is 0.8, right? But it's not like Liverpool peppered them. It's not like Liverpool peppered them when we had 7 shots on target out of 14 or 15. I think Liverpool had 1 on target from about 7. You know what I mean? So it wasn't working going the other way either, lads. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. And like we had, the where I watched the match, Andy Townsend was on commentary and fucking terrible. And they kept going on about Liverpool haven't had a shot, and it wasn't until Szoboszlai has one and Donnarumma flaps at it that we get a shot. Now, obviously, it doesn't count the disallowed goal. Obviously, that's not a shot on target. And then the Gakpo chance that he hits out, he got lashed out with Gakpo for that chance. But
I think it was difficult enough.
It was bouncing up higher a million miles an hour.
Yeah, I think that was a really difficult one, to be honest.
I think he goes with the wrong foot.
Yeah, possibly. But look, we can cry and moan about not getting the result there today, but we really, and like I said, I led the charges on blaming a ref that was in a van in Stockley Park, but we only have ourselves to blame. Do you know what I mean? Because we didn't create enough, because we didn't do the basics. As you said, Gav, we didn't get support out to Bradley, who's up against Doku, and whether you like Doku or not, he's a threat until it comes to the final end product. He got a goal today, which doesn't usually happen for him, but the end product isn't there. But he will torment fullbacks, and when you have a player like that, Mohamed Salah is not going to help him, right? We know that. Mohamed Salah hasn't helped anybody in 2 years. His remit is to just stay up there, and that's it. So you then need your midfield to get in and do that. So Bosley, I felt he ran around an awful lot. I didn't think he was shy today, but I thought he was just maybe trying to press on his own, having to do too much.
So Bosley, for me, worked hard, and when he got it, he did look to push us on. He looked to push us forward. He looked to be positive in what he was doing. But you can't do that on your own.
No, you can't. And that's where, Gravenberch, who's usually reliable, has an off day. McAllister, who's still working his way back, I thought he was excellent in the last two. I expected more from him today, didn't get it. Curtis Jones comes on, thought he was awful. You expect more from Curtis Jones. His strengths, he holds the ball and he makes it he can make things happen. Didn't think he was able to influence it at all. So we got, the midfield really didn't give us enough to support the likes of Bradley and Robertson in the fullback areas. But again, I keep coming back to Kanate. That first goal, he's not even jumping. And whereas I think 18 months ago, Kanate's competing for that header. I don't think he's getting beaten like that. I don't think he's getting nailed to the ground like he is on that one. And he's, I just see there, who said it? Someone said it there. He's at the scene of every crime now, Kanate. And that's the worry for me, is Kanate's at the scene of the crime. So if you've got Bradley getting a difficult afternoon by Jeremy Doku, he needs some support from Kanate. He's probably not getting that support from him. We need to sort that centre of defence out. I think we need to do it in January. If we don't, we're at risk of really finishing down the table. Not trying to use hyperbole or that and saying, we'll come 11th or 12th. We won't. But I think we really need to get something done because he doesn't trust Joe Gomez to play centre-back. So it's Kanate, Van Dijk, Kanate, Van Dijk, Kanate, Van Dijk, Kanate, Van Dijk. The biggest problem in the team is Kanate, Van Dijk. So we need to get something. Whether that means we bring in Mark Gahey if we can in January and we just go with that. If we bring in the other fella that Palace are after, the Ivory Coast fella, what's his name? Diamande, is it? The big centre-back, we were linked with him as well. If we bring in him, I just think we need to get a centre-back in that Slot will trust and will play. Because until we sort the centre of the defence out, we will concede goals at an alarming rate. The goalkeeper, don't know. Has anyone been impressed with him? I don't think he's done too bad. I don't think he's done too good.
You look today. The goalkeeper saves a penalty, right? The first goal, no chance of saving it.
No chance whatsoever.
Because it actually, I think he expects Kanate to head it away, and then he's like, "Fuck," and it's in the corner anyway. Even if he dives, there's no point. The second goal is deflected past him, and the third goal is a really good finish. So I don't know. I wouldn't even be discussing the goalkeeper.
No, but I'm not criticising him for today. I just mean in general, is the jury in? Is the jury out? He's played a few games, but we're missing Allison. But the reality is,
fine.
Yeah, I think he's done all right. I watched him.
I think he's actually improved a bit with his feet as well. At the start, he was a bit.
Yeah.
Well, we kept putting balls onto his fucking wrong foot. Which
we did. Yeah.
He's a decent keeper. But my point is more, when you have a keeper like Allison, in the last 3 years, he's missed fucking huge amounts of games. That's why Kelleher plays so much. This year, he's missing huge amounts of games, so we have Mamadashvili in there. So we've a new keeper coming straight into the team unexpectedly. You know what I mean? He probably isn't expected to play so soon, so many games. So we need a strong base in front of him then, and we're not getting that. So, whether it be Bradley and Robbo or Kirkes and Frimpong or whichever mixie or centre-backs, you need full-backs. You need your centre-backs to be solid and strong, and then you build from there. Your midfield has to be on it as well. If that's not working and you've no defensive solidity, you're going to get beaten. You're going to give up chances. You're going to give up the ball and you're going to get punished. And that's what happened today. We got punished by our own, I wouldn't say naivety, but our own stupidity maybe, in that we were just giving the ball to a team that want the ball. They're at home. It's Pep Guardiola's 1000th game. I know not for Man City, but it's his 1000th game. They want to win for him. And we just played into their hands. And until we fix our centre of defence, there's going to be more days that I like that, because Van Dijk's getting older. I still think he's top notch, but he's making a few dodgy decisions. And if he had a more solid partner with him, I think they might not be getting as exposed as much. So I really think we have to do something.
When I look at Kanate today, right? If Kanate, for me, comes across to cover Bradley and kicks the ball into the stand and jumps a bit higher and flicks the ball over Haaland's head. We're probably still having a discussion over him, to be fair, because the Doku goal, someone just said there he's terrible for the Doku goal. He looks like fucking Bambi on ice trying to fucking stay with Doku. He's all over the fucking place. And now, I'm not taking that away from Doku's finish, because if that's a Liverpool player scoring him a goal, that's a fucking brilliant finish.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing for me with Konate at the moment is just do the fucking simple things. Like, there's two simple things there today. One stops a goal and one stops a penalty. One, kick it really hard at people, all the people in the blue that are sitting down, right? And the second thing is, when the ball comes in, it's not even like it doesn't even look like to me like he's at full stretch there. It's like he's just, I've got to the pitch and I'll just flick this. Where just get up and fucking head it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, he would have got up and heading it.
Head it out for a corner. Just do the simple things. But he wasn't doing the simple things. But look, Liverpool weren't good enough today. I get you. I do get your points on the referees and decisions and stuff like that. But I don't like to put it all down to referees and decisions, because it feels a bit mad. Zach says speak on the tactics. Are we not speaking on the tactics?
Yeah, what was the tactics? The tactics looked like we didn't really have many tactics. So
to me, the tactic was, we're going out here and Man City have to pick this team and we'll be fine and we'll go about this. And then City picked a different team and we went, well, we'll just try to do this anyway. That was the tactics. And Slot has come out afterwards and said, I'm not going to put it on the lads today about their effort, etc. The tactics I went with. I don't think he said the team. I said the tactics that I put on them today didn't work. Well, no shit, Sherlock. And you know what? 20 minutes in, it wasn't working. But my thing is, change it.
Change it.
Yeah.
Just fucking change it. Take your medicine and go, lads, these are literally playing 5 attackers. Let's be fair. They're playing 5 attackers and 2 fullbacks pushed up. They're being brave, right? We could try throw 5 up front if you want against that and see what they do. But let's just take your medicine a bit, be solid and go. And you know when they lose it? They've only fucking 3 at the back, lads. And we have got Salah, we have got Verts, we've Ekatika, we've Szoboszlai that can move, and maybe a fullback that can join in. A Gravenberch is no slouch. But we didn't. We sat there and we went, let's just keep trying this. And they just could pick where they wanted to go. Do you know what I'm saying?
But what's changed with him? Because he has in the past done it. He whipped Kwanzaa in his first league game in church. He whipped Kwanzaa after 35 minutes in a cup game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he, it's not like he doesn't have the minerals to do it. So why isn't he doing it?
No, he whipped Kwanzaa in the opening league game, and then I think he whips Konate in a cup game and puts Kwanzaa on, doesn't he? He does it against Brighton.
But he's done it. He's made substitutions at half time, so he's not beyond admitting that maybe he's got it wrong. So what's actually changed?
For me,
why isn't he doing it? No, for him, like what? Like do we like?
Well, you see, when he comes in, he talks about having the ball, keeping possession of the ball, and Liverpool get better. Something I always remember him saying was, your analysis, your analysis of decisions you're going to make in attacking areas in particular has to be spot on. So if you think I can get that ball to him, but he's going to be fucking cornered, I'll keep playing and I'll find the right ball. I know it's not like pass for the sake of passing, but he went on about that an awful lot and controlling the ball and keeping the ball and stuff. And we went away from that. And we went away from it and we went more of a pressure game and stuff like that. And that worked for us. We won a league title on it. And now he's gone back and I think he's trying to go back to what he originally wanted to do. But in order to do that, you have to set up in a certain way. And you can't go out and you can't in this league go out and half press a team, right? Half press a team, get played through, and then turn around and go, yeah, we want to be solid and we want to keep the ball. And especially when you're not keeping the fucking ball, because we seem to be, for me, in a mad rush to get forward all the time. It's a mad rush. It's like, get up the pitch. Lads, you don't get anything for being fucking up the pitch quick. And
I think we're in a mad rush to get forward up the pitch to a point. And I think there's about 2-3 yards outside the 18-yard box where we just stop and then we start passing it around. And what you see from City today was as Doku was getting and he was fucking heading to the box. Yeah. We seem to charge forward to a point and then stop and start passing it across the front of the goal. Now I know there's obviously a tactic involved in that, and you're trying to move them around.
But sometimes that's a really
we
good
don't
decision.
do it. We don't do it with pace.
But that's a
There's
but
no
some,
no penetration.
But sometimes
there's
that's a really good
no
decision.
intensity to it.
You know, like if you watch Villa, we're 2-0 up against Villa, and you're thinking, right, we go on the attack, and you're looking, oh, will he play him in here? And then I think it might have been Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai's down the right wing, and he goes, well, I play it. I don't think I can. And he turns, and what's he do? Keeps the ball another 2 minutes, makes Villa run around. Liverpool end up doing something good off the back of it. And you kind of go, I'm okay with that. But what we're doing is we're trying to get forward that fast that the accuracy isn't there. And then we're being turned around, and our midfield is meant to be playing this high pressing shit, and it's not doing it. And I think Brian makes a really good point. He said he's caught between tactical styles plus new players, existing players out of form, his own tactical mistakes, Jota, etc., etc.
Absolutely, nail on the head.
And I think Brian is, it is nail on the head.
It is.
And listen, they're all valid things, but I go back to it. Pick it and fucking stick with it, right? But if he went in there today, right, with a 4-3-3, and he's done it for the previous 2 games, that's fine. Play a 4-3-3, but you have to be flexible to say, lads, these are playing 5 up front. So what are we going to do? Are we going to say, listen, Gravenberch in the back 4, you look after them 5, and we go up here and look after them 5, and we'll see how we work out? It's not how the game works. But when you, do you know what it reminded me of today? Do you ever see when a player goes to press a team and he runs from centre back to full back and back, and then it goes into midfield, and he turns and goes, where the fuck are the rest of us? That's what it felt like today, as a like a whole in the team. The whole team felt they were looking around, going, what the fuck are we doing here? But look, it's over. It's, I've seen loads of people saying the manager's under pressure and stuff like that. I hope he doesn't go on holiday, Keith. He better not go
fucking definitely going to go on holiday, so people want to brace
Where
themselves.
do you reckon he's going?
He's going to Dubai. Of course he's going to Dubai.
Is it Dubai or
I think we're in November. Ocean Beach is closed in Ibiza. So
yeah, I'd say Wayne Lineker will open her up for him. The gold card. No, look, people need to not lose their shit about him going away either. Like, we're turning mountains into molehills. If there's nobody back there to work, well, our players are getting a break. He can go on a break. People need to just fucking relax. I don't think Slot should be under pressure for what it's worth. I think, Liverpool are having a bad time of it. There is, extenuating circumstances, as Brian says. There's a few things happening. The Jota thing, it's like we're afraid to use it as an excuse.
Well, you shouldn't be.
It's there. We're afraid to say it. He is making his own mistakes with his tactics. And our big players are off form. Van Dijk isn't on great form. Salah was atrocious again today. McAllister hasn't been great. Konate hasn't been great. So big characters are not doing it, and we're trying to integrate. We're trying to integrate new players as well. So look, it's a perfect storm for Shy. I think Slot should get the time to try and fix it. I don't like these comparisons with Brendan Rodgers. I think it's an insult to a fella who won the league for us last year. And if anyone tries to say it was Klopp's team, Klopp didn't win it with them the year before, so that's a load of bollocks. I just think we need to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, even though I've done it about a ref that wasn't even there. And the corruption that he sort of does. So I think we need to just get through this Shy. If it continues for the whole season and we're baffling decision, well, then we have to look at things. But Slot needs to get a chance to fix this. He needs his big players that were already there to sort themselves out. Mo Salah, again, I was at the Villa game. He was excellent. He was excellent against Madrid, I thought. And everything outside of that, he's been atrocious. And he was atrocious today. Virgil van Dijk, as I said, we expect more. Robbo, decent, wasn't great today. McAllister not being great. All these are big characters that are in there, and we're not getting it from them. So they have to do a bit. It's not just on Slot tactically to make Mo Salah better. Mo Salah has to put in the effort. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of everything. It's players, it's manager. The fan base has to just stick with him and, not be throwing fucking shit fits and Shy hemorrhages every time we lose points. It's not going to go on. We can't. If it goes on, well, then it's a problem. But we just need to regroup. If he needs a holiday, let him have a fucking holiday. And then we come back after this break and we say, right, this run of games, we expect to get whatever many points. I think it's a softer run of games after this break, is
Yeah,
it?
but you see, the thing is, it's a softer run of games, but it's different. It's going to be different again. It's going to be more of this direct
Low
balls
blocks.
up and second balls, and it's all about work rate. It's all about knowing your surroundings and working on it, and that's what Liverpool didn't do. That's what Liverpool
No, but they
haven't.
didn't. But if you're not going to, if you're playing Manchester United and Chelsea and Man City and you're not putting in the fucking work, you're going to get punished. So the players have to put in the graft. Slot has to be tactically aware to make changes. Like I said, his substitutions can baffle you. Joe Gomez coming on today, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I know,
Do you know what I mean?
but you see, but the thing is, like, you know, I couldn't give a bollocks where your Arne Slot is for the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. You know what I mean? And loads of players will be off playing international football. There might be about 7 or 8 of them.
Can I just say,
Sorry, can I?
Gav is in Ashbourne. Keith, you're in Ringsend. I'm in Tala. The magic of fucking digital technology these days. He could be on a fucking Zoom call and a Teams call
I
with his
understand that.
coaches and players even while they're away.
I understand that. Stevie says Slot has to go where 80's not good enough. Stevie, let me ask you this. Liverpool are going through a really difficult time at the moment, right? And it's not nice to watch. But have you always held the view that Arne Slot isn't good enough? You know, did you hold that view when they beat Villa and they beat Real Madrid? Did you still sit there going, no, I want them out? Or are you just upset over the game? I genuinely want to know the answer to that, because I think he's putting himself under massive pressure, but I think he can work his way out of this, and I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world to work out. You know, like, see, the big thing for me today is that team that Man City played there today. I'm nearly sure it's the same team that plays against Bournemouth. Right, I think it's very close to the Bournemouth game, if not exactly the same, which is the last league game, right? And it nearly feels to me like we're not putting enough into these games in preparation for them to say, this is what we're going to pick. And if they play this, we're going to do this. And if they play that, we're going to do this. And we're going to pick a team that can, whatever way they want to do it, we're able to, keep them at arm's length and hurt them. Yeah. And I just don't think we're at that. And we can talk about personnel and we can talk about form and extenuating circumstances. I just don't feel like we're adapting to what other teams are doing. No. And that's worrying. That is worrying. Yeah. I just don't think we're adapting. But I don't think it would have been too much to ask Liverpool today to say, right, lads, they're at home. There's 55,000 of the bastards in the crowd, right? They're going to go this way. So what are we going to do? What's the best thing we can do here in order to be solid, protect ourselves, and give ourselves a chance of going the other way? And it might have been, like I said earlier, being a little bit flatter in midfield, pulling one of the wingers back to help and shifting ourselves back and forward, and then look to hit them with what we have. And we didn't do that. And that would be a big worry for me. And the other thing is, like, Spectre asks, who do you think is a realistic replacement if you were to get rid of Arne Slot? And I've seen some fucking names there, and I went, holy fuck. But listen, that's
who's getting mentioned? Cesc
Fabregas.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
The fella off Bournemouth.
Oh, Uriel. So
now, if the fella off Bournemouth arrives at Liverpool and loses 3 or 4 games, they're going to say, well, yeah, he's good at managing Bournemouth, but this is Liverpool. It's a very fucking hard job to fill. But
the fact that we call him the fella off Bournemouth is enough to rule him out for me. We don't even know his name.
Well, I wouldn't. I've often said I wouldn't give him the job, because I remember him standing in brand new runners on the sideline. It was pissing rain one night in Bournemouth when they played a home game, and I thought, he's a fucking disgrace, that fella. So that's my only feeling on him.
That's a good enough for me.
Yeah. Man City might lose a game, but they never get embarrassed football wise as much as we do.
I don't know. Spurs have embarrassed them a few times.
When we badly think Spurs have gone
4-0.
Spurs have bounced off City at home. Arsenal beat them 5-1 last season. Stevie says, Gav, I thought it was a blip, but no way should we have lost that game 3-0. Honestly, he's not learning from previous mistakes. I agree with you, Stevie. But you have to learn. He is learning. He's learning players. He is learning players. He is. Like, is he learning quick enough? Probably not for our liking, to be fair. But he has to learn and he has to look to change. And to be fair, today, that was the team I picked, by the way. I picked the exact same team. Now, I'm not saying I'm a tick, but I picked the same team as what he put out there today. Yeah. I just couldn't understand that after 10, 15 minutes when we seen how they were playing and their lineup that we didn't react with. And I think that is on him. But anyway, look, it's an international break. I'm not even going to ask you what you want to see after the international break. It's fucking pointless. But
suntan manager.
Imagine he come back with a full head of hair.
Oh, stop. The talkie job.
Like,
where were you this time, Arnie?
We could just pretend we did sack him and we brought in Antonio Conte. Anyway, anything else on the game? Anything else on the football before we go?
Oh, no, look, I mean, it's been an hour of sour grapes, and I do sort of get that. I do understand when you moan about decisions. We do it when we win as well, but when you lose a game and you moan it does come across as sour grapes. But Liverpool just have to focus and just get back.
But in an ideal world, we only moan about how badly they've played.
Yeah.
But there's two factors today.
Yeah. Look, it is, and it's
and we've lost. This is our fifth game.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the few times that we've actually complained about officials.
Yeah, true.
This loss. Other games, we didn't deserve to win.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we deserved to win today. I thought we were very poor. However, that goal changes the game, and it could have ended up 1-1. It's a lot better than 3-0. It could have ended up 2-1 to City. At least you're not talking about the fact that you had and you're not talking again about a time where you've had a perfectly good goal ruled out.
Yeah, I get that, but I think the bigger issue here in all of it is Liverpool's approach to the game and their application.
Yeah, because Man City are going to be doing long throws like Rory the lap specials like Brentford did. So you knew they were going to go, and it wasn't going to be one of them where you're going to have to deal with set piece after set piece. You knew what City were going to play ball, so if you have to go toe to toe with them, and we didn't. So you know what I mean. We didn't bring any sort of fight to a game at the Etihad, and it's always disappointing because we've been hopped off there a few times, and it's always disappointing when you get beaten there. But I expected more from that team that was put out there. I expected more fight, more effort, and we didn't get it. So ultimately, we have to just lick our wounds and move on. You're not entitled to win at the Etihad any season, by the way. You know, these places are difficult to go. We just need to make sure that we get this shit out of our system and move on and start picking up the points that we should be picking up.
And I think the biggest test to come is after this international break, because as you said, it's a softer running games. Now, if this softer running games turns into, the next day and you win 4 and you lose 4, and you're kind of going, well, hold on now.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
That's when you have to really, yeah. Before we go, lads, when's acceptable to put up a Christmas tree?
I'm firmly in the camp of once the fire brigade put out the Halloween bonfire, it's Christmas tree season. Right. So I'm of the.
Would you be if someone turned up at your house for a Christmas tree today on the 9th of November? Would you lash it up?
Oh yeah, I'd have no problem. I love Christmas tree. So my missus going away to Euro Disney with the kids in 2 weeks.
Result?
The Christmas tree has to be up.
You didn't get an invite now.
No. She's going with her sisters and their kids, and it's not for the daddy. So
when is it? Like, is there a signal that it's Christmas? Because I said to the lads today, there's 2 signals for me when it's officially Christmas. One, people start talking about Kirsty McCall and jet skis in the same sentence, right?
Yeah, the Lord be good to her.
And Lord be good to her. And 2 is when Glenn Hansard miraculously stumbles across a busker in Dublin singing one of his songs for the 7th year in a row.
Is that not usually
that's like Christmas Eve?
Yeah. No, but no, he doesn't. He does it ages before. They just bring it out on Christmas.
Is it not when you see the first Coca-Cola ad? Holidays are coming, no?
Chris Hockley says the Coke truck, yeah.
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah.
Brian O'Halloran says November the 25th, maybe. Christmas FM starts on November 28th.
November the 1st is when it starts.
8th of December in the house, late November in a shop.
8th of December.
I do have a
Parties
friend.
on before that, for fuck's sake.
I do have a friend that takes the Halloween decorations
So do
down and puts the Christmas decorations up on the same day.
I was going through and me mate nearly didn't. He told me this was a lie, but it's not. I was driving through Finglas yesterday, right? And these garlands that you just see, the kind of, how do I explain them? They're like fucking, they look like Christmas tree material, but they're, like a garland you'd put on a fireplace where it kind of goes down. You see them in all the American movies. So they loop down to a centerpiece, then loop to the other side. I seen a fella putting a fucking massive one on the front of his house in Finglas yesterday, and I was like, fucking hell, the size of that thing. But like, he's not giving a bollocks. That was the 8th of November, and he was like, fuck yous.
Too right.
Are you?
He's right.
It has to. I wouldn't say that there's. I wouldn't put a rule on it being when is too early or whatever. But and we spoke about this yesterday. It definitely has to be up for the toy show.
But the toy show's the last Friday in November.
No, it's the 5th of December this year.
Oh, they've put it back in. They've put it back, have they, this year?
It's in December, yeah, 5th of
Right.
December.
Well, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2.5 weeks before
nearly
Christmas.
finished.
But then also with us, what we do is we look and go, well, we've got that this weekend, and we won't get a chance to do it that weekend. And like, if we're not, it depends on when you're going to get a chance to do it. Like, you don't do it midweek; it's always a weekend.
Do you know what I do every year? So we bought these two big, the big Christmas tree bags. They're fucking huge, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these two big, they're fucking monstrous things. But I always think to myself, right, I'll get everything from downstairs, all the fucking decorations into these two bags. And I only have to do 2 trips up the old steps into the attic, And it always seems like a deadly idea. Early January and you take the stuff down. But I know for a fact now I'm going to go up to this attic in about 3 weeks and I'm going to be going, how in the name of fuck am I meant to get these 2 bags down the stairs? And it'll be like a fucking demon. And she does even say to the kids, out, get the fuck out while he gets these things down, because he'd be effing and blinding and there'd be shit falling out of the attic all over the place. But so Keith's doing it. Keith's 1st of November.
I think there's a lot to be said for just leaving them up all year round.
Well, now.
And just styling it.
Right,
just
so
trying to blade and...
I put up Christmas lights around at the front of my house last year, right? And I never took them down.
Oh,
still there.
You don't see them unless you turn them on.
Yeah, so they're just...
You're not turning them on?
I might lash them on now this week just as a test event. Not like they do at Anfield when they build a new stand. Just lash them on and people go, what the fuck? People think I'm Indian because around Halloween there's an Indian kind of...
Diwali.
Diwali.
And they all hang...
Yeah.
But there's a few Indian families live in my
It's
estate.
called the Festival of Lights.
Yeah, and their fucking lights are amazing. And what we do is we slag the girl around the corner because she loves being, she's a childhood friend of mine that just happens to live near me now as well. And she loves Christmas. She's like, Halloween decorations down, 1st of November, Christmas up. And these lights, all the Indians around the area put up their lights. And we're like, oh, they're at the fucking hammering you over. I'd say are snapping, like, you know what I mean? So she's losing the plot. But, I might just throw them on. See how we're getting on, but I don't want to take them down, lads.
Are you a artificial tree or a real tree?
Artificial tree.
Artificial, yeah.
Well, you'd have to be, Keith. You put yours up in fucking September, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
a real tree wouldn't last.
What do you call that when you put someone's body into the ice?
Cryogenic.
Cryogenic.
Yeah, you could do that to your tree, Keith.
Do you ever see people that shrink wrap a Christmas tree?
With the lights and the decos and all on them.
The decorations, lights, all still on it, and then they shrink wrap and wrap the Christmas tree, and up it goes into the attic. Could it take it
Who
down
does
next
that?
year? And just,
There was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Ah, no.
Saves you from taking the decorations on and off all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust it, but
No, you're definitely going to end up with a load of balls at the end.
I always imagined them real Christmas trees. I've never had a real Christmas tree. I always just imagine they just smell of piss.
yeah, fair.
No?
You can actually buy Christmas tree smell yolks to hang in your artificial tree. They're like they're a bit
so the artificial tree smells of piss.
Smells like pine, like a pine tree.
Yeah, smells a piss, really. Anyway, anything else before we go, Emma?
Now, wouldn't have we nothing to email the club about this week?
No,
Abstain.
We did get a reply actually.
right, what did he say? Fuck
Hang on,
off.
I'll tell you now. Hang on. Just hang on.
You are blocked from contacting this address. Getting the glasses out must be serious.
Holy Jesus.
Said, who's this?
I feel like he's going to read out I feel like he's about to read out the last will and testament there. Anything else before we go, Keith?
No, that's it. Do you know what? The match was over today. I watched zero fucking analysis or shy talk at the end of it. I got up, I was frustrated, and I'm at that making a lovely roasted tomato and red pepper soup for tomorrow.
Oh,
Fantastic.
out of frustration?
Out of frustration, out of anger, yeah. So what am I going to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm so mad now I'm going to make a fucking soulful stew or soulful soup for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'd say they annoy you in the house all the time. They get gorgeous dinners.
Yeah.
I came across a video on TikTok. I was actually
No way. You on TikTok?
Yeah.
Unlike it.
Went out for dinner today, and I had something, and I thought that kind of repeated on me, you know. And I remember I was watching.
Was it a packet of waffles crisps?
No, but they do repeat.
They repeat something definitely.
Yeah. And I watched a video the other day, and a girl was eating something like it was in batter, and she looked and she thought, "Oh, I don't think I can eat that. That has nightshades in it." And I was like, "What the fuck is nightshades?"
I can't.
Do you know what nightshades are?
What?
Aubergine, tomatoes, red bell peppers, and white potatoes are known as nightshades, and people can have an intolerance to them.
Right.
And it can make you kind of itchy, give you eczema and stuff like that. I never knew that. Nightshades is what they're referred to as.
Yeah. Potatoes?
White potatoes, they say white potatoes. Red bell peppers, tomatoes,
what are the colour potatoes?
Eggplant. It was obviously an American. Eggplant.
What's an eggplant?
Aubergine.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. But
you don't eat eggplant.
I never knew that. It's called
in my house.
Nightshades. I'm sure Ashley probably knew that's what nightshades were. But I thought she was having a laugh, like nightshades. I thought it was something that was out of fucking Harry Potter or something.
And what are these, like, so you reckon you had a load of nightshades today?
No, there was jalapenos on it, there was tomatoes on it, onions. I had a ribeye steak burger. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. But you're full of nightshades.
It was kind of, afterwards I was kind of like, do you know that way you kind of burping and shit like that? And I thought, maybe, I'm fully hooked on it now. That maybe I'm intolerant to nightshades. So, there you go.
Okay. Right. Marge has been hoovering all day. I like hoovering. Yeah.
Don't mind it.
Yeah, I love ironing.
Oh, no.
Love ironing.
No. I don't mind hoovering though. There's something about just stick a podcast in there and just hoover. And no one annoys you when you're hoovering. Do you ever notice that? No one annoys you.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because they don't want to do it. And
exactly.
Say, fucking stop him.
She doesn't want to rock the boat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't want to rock
the boat.
That.
I like I can buy into that type of sneakiness.
Yeah.
Good type.
Yeah. Just upstairs, leave the hoover on, have a lie down on the bed, and then get back up and do the rest of it. Yeah, that's good stuff. Right.
It's a bit of a dodgy scene, isn't it? Lying on a bed with a hoover going.
Yeah, well, listen, you take the rest wherever you come.
Somebody bursts in.
You take the rest wherever you can get it. Right. Right, that's been the Sunday Night Cop. Don't be too depressed, lads. It's only a game of football. We'll be back watching the Reds in 2 weeks, and hopefully they'll win and we'll all be happy again. Like I said, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. We will be heavy on our Patreon this week with loads of different shows about all sorts of different stuff. Random as fuck it'll be. We're just going to let you know that much. If you want to join, the link is in the description, and join for the month. Because if you join now, you get a month and you get 2 weeks of the international break, and you get 2 weeks of the Reds being back, and you might enjoy it. And if you do, stay with us. If you don't have to. It just stops after a month if you wanted to go that way. I've been Gav, that's been Emmet, that's been Keith. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.